I don't know about y'all, but Calabasas is a dream location for me. Beautiful homes, great weather. Why wouldn't I want to live in Calabasas? But one of the biggest barriers between us living in Calabasas is the fact that we got to make a lot of money in order to get there. I want to live in Calabasas, so I went ahead and studied how Calabasas locals got rich so that you don't have to. There's a lot of ways to get rich. Some ways exciting, some ways not so much. But at the end of the day, if you love it, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about what you're doing. Some people are doing things that I might look at as boring, like a spoon company. But at whatever point, they saw a gap in the spoon market and they decided to fill it and they got rich. According to the Calabasas locals that I went ahead and studied, they've been able to get rich by wealth advisory, advertising, technology sales, and being a restaurant owner. And a couple of those are careers that I've never thought about when it came to getting money, especially enough to live in Calabasas. But one of the biggest points that they decided to make when it came to being rich and living in Calabasas is the fact that it comes down to the mindset. And I decided to make sure that none of these were the cliche sayings that we always hear, like work hard, study. And that leads me into the first tip that they gave me on how to get rich and live in Calabasas, and that's to be coachable. We know that we gotta chase our dreams and do what we love, but along the journey, we gonna need some new information. Rather that comes from books or content or a mentor that we know personally. New information has to come from somewhere. But in order to retain that information, we have to be coachable. I often talk about our ego and how that stops us from learning and progressing in life. And ego comes from societal norms or fear that aren't even real or things that we shouldn't even care about because it's not going to help us grow in life. And we have to make sure that we put that ego to the side so that we can be coachable. And whenever someone is giving us new information, we're able to receive it. Now, of course, we all interpret information differently, and whatever I decide is great information and something that I can execute upon right now, for someone else, it might not be the case. I often talk about at some points in our lives, certain information we just cannot retain because we just haven't reached a certain amount of experience in our life to go ahead and retain that information. We can't relate to it. We can't form certain analogies to relate to it. And that's cool, but certain information comes around multiple times in our lives, and at some point, we're going to get it to an extent that we're able to execute upon that knowledge. So we got to make sure we're coachable so that we can continue to elevate and not recreate the wheel, so we can replicate other millionaires and we can live in Calabasas too. The second way Calabasas locals got rich is by networking. We always hear that our network is our net worth, and having great relationships can help us in our career long term, and we can seek new opportunities that we just wouldn't have access to if we didn't build those relationships. But understanding how to network in the right way is super important. A lot of people look at networking as I got to use people. I got to get in these rooms so I can figure out how I can take from these other people. These people are millionaires. I want to be a millionaire. So what can I take from them? Even if I don't have any value to offer, I want to get in this room and I want to stand next to this person so that I can take. But the best way to network is to bring something to the table and actually get to know people and build real relationships that's aside from business. And over time, those relationships become something that you do go into business with each other. As you start to know each other more, you figure out more about what each other does and how you can help each other. And at some point, you're going to decide you want to make some money with this person because you like them as a person. And that's the key to network. The third way Calabasas locals got rich is by understanding their why. You got to understand why you're getting into something. What's stopping you from quitting whatever you do today? When it comes to making content and posting it on YouTube or making music and dropping it consistently, there is no obligation. I can't get fired if I don't upload a video. Like if you have a 9-to-5, if you don't show up, you're going to get a warning or you might just get fired. There's an obligation that you have to fulfill. When it comes to being an entrepreneur, there is no obligation except for the obligation that we make with ourselves. And we have to have the discipline and understand our why in order to fulfill that obligation and keep showing up for ourselves every single day. We all going to have times where we feel like giving up, but understanding our why. Now that could be the fact that you just want to take care of your family or you just want to prove to yourself. Whatever is a strong enough why for you, and it doesn't even have to be super strong, just something that's personal to you. You have to understand that why, and you have to remind yourself of that why every time you have these bad days where you just want to give up. Because we all have them, there's nothing we can do to avoid those, but understanding our why will get us over that hump much more times than not. The fourth way Calabasas locals are getting rich is by following their vision. I always talk about how our mind is so powerful and we have these visions. Whatever we want in life, we have to be able to visualize it, and from there we put our actions to work so that we can realize it in the physical world. When I once something, I have to see it clear as day in my head, as specific as I possibly can, be as creative as possible, and only see the positive outcome in my head. So deep that I feel like it already happened and I'm already living in that space. And then I start pursuing it. And in order to stay present as much as possible, I have to detach from the results, and I have to align my daily routine with my goals. My daily routine has to be things that I know will get me to my goals over time. And as I stay present day to day, I'll be able to reach my goals in a subconscious way, because I focus my attention on what I need to do right now presently in order to reach my intended goals in the future. And I promise you, if you follow the things that I listed in this video, you will be able to become a millionaire and live in Calabasas. Now, if you want to know how other millionaires are getting rich every single day, make sure y'all go ahead and check out this playlist right here, because I studied millionaires all around the world to figure out how they did it and how we also can replicate that same process and get rich and live in these high net worth areas. Let's get rich.
He got an alibi and he won't abide to no law. I know it's fucked up, but he won't hesitate to go send a nigga to a law. Young nigga with rag ties in the back of a Maybach. Put in work, whole fan gon' eat. I been going to work on eat, all grind, no sleep, I stay low key. And you know I be rolling with killers, they really gorillas. Only the realest, you know that we winning. I feel like I